couldn't think of anyone else that would be the Bob Harris I had in mind. So it was scary because I didn't want to make the movie if he wasn't going to do it. So, and I really wanted to make the movie. So, needless to say, I was happy when he showed up in Tokyo.
The bilingual challenge of working in Tokyo was significant. We were a small crew with a small budget, trying to overwhelm this gigantic city of maybe 20 million people. It was clear that you had to remain calm. It was almost like a war. It's like it has a sort of a military feeling, like, okay, if we panic, we're really in trouble, because it seemed like you couldn't make yourself understood. And Sofia never settled at all with them. Just very politely smiled and said, yes, I see, I understand. No, what I really want to do now is, and then just keep going ahead like some sort of a small burrowing animal that's going to get through the clay eventually. And
Nice.
It is a pretty picture. But she just,
I thought you were going to say like a samurai or something.
Okay, like a samurai, like a small burrowing samurai with a short knife. The director of photography was?
It was Acord, my friend, and I just think he's so talented and just made the film look beautiful and how I imagined and hoped, and even better.
When you see light and you see beauty in light, you know, uh-oh, okay, this guy's got some stuff. And the way he actually sort of made sure he got what he wanted, at the same time showed people how it was done. They were fascinated with watching him. I think they really liked watching him because he has so much enthusiasm. There was some sort of humor that usually accompanies a romance that I thought I could tackle and could make it, could help tell the story. And when this came, I thought, well, this is right where I can do this. I know this. I think I know this. I know a little bit about being a movie star and a little bit about the scenes of being a fish out of water. I know what it's like to be a long ways from home, so I thought I could do this. The only question I had was how funny the boss wanted it to be. How funny this could be without affecting the film that Sofia wanted to make.
Help!
And the art director?
First, Ann Ross was there before you came, and she was designing the stuff in the hotel, mostly when she had to leave. And then KK Barrett came from Los Angeles, and he showed up, I think, the day before shooting, and he got off the plane and started working and had great ideas for where to shoot in the city. We turned this little clothing store into the strip club, and the nightclub with the fireworks on the. He had an idea to get weather balloons to project the fireworks on. And Bill did learn some Japanese that he shared with us and kept things lively. Do you remember your phrases still?
My what?
Do you still remember your phrases?
I have a couple of, I had this book which I'd had in my library for maybe 10 or 12 years called Making Out in Japanese, and it's extremely helpful. And I would take it with me to dinner. I would take it with me to dinner wherever I'd go, and
I saw you carrying that around.
And I would just, wherever I went, I had this thing, and it was full of all kinds of phrases that like a college kid on his first trip to the Orient would have, and it had some helpful things, but more specifically, it had some magnificent things for this type of individual, including, do you have a curfew? And things like that. And I would ask this of elder, waitresses in restaurants, do you have a curfew? In Japanese, and do you think I could meet your family? Would your family approve of me? Can we get into the back seat?
You talking to me?
Needless to say, he was a fun person to be in Tokyo with.
Are you talking to me? Do you have protection? I mean, I'd ask that of sushi chefs. I'd say, "Do you have protection?" And they would just fall apart. And it was kind of dangerous because they always have a knife in their hands anyway. I'm thinking, well, maybe they won't like that.
Nancy Steiner was our costume designer, and it was funny when you showed up. I talked to Nancy, and she had come up with the look for Bob Harris, and then Bill showed up, and we had never talked about it, and he had brought some clothes, and they were all exactly the same, like the same color
Really
scheme,
spooky.
and they were.
I'm stuck. Does it get easier?
No. Yes. It gets easier.
Oh, yeah? Look at you.
Thanks. I think it's really a key scene in the film. I think that's when most movie watchers decide that they like the film. Because there's a romantic encounter structure that we're all familiar with, and usually it gets to a point where the writing is not makes a choice to go one way or another, and usually both ways are sort of incorrect for me. They're almost not true in a way. In terms of writing a story that's worth repeating, maybe people either have an affair, a consummate affair, or they do something different and turn on each other or something. This was, and when you get to a point where you have the possibility to consummate affair, usually people will belittle their other life. You know, they will say it's less important to them and less meaningful and less successful. So to justify to themselves and to the other person that what choice they're going to make is going to be okay. And that was the tricky part about shooting the scene, was it sort of wasn't clear yet how we were going to get that across. And it took a while to figure it out. It was a tough night, and we did a little walking up and down the halls, and made something that's made a scene that I'm very proud of. It's one of the nicest scenes I've ever made. And the makeup department?
And Morag Ross was our hero. She did the hair and makeup for Bill, Scarlett, and Giovanni, all the actors, all the makeup and all the hair, one person, and she was running all over. And I thought she made you look very handsome, and she made Scarlett look beautiful. And then Richard Beggs, the sound designer, who's a real artist. I love the moment when, after you bring Scarlett home and you're carrying her down the hall, and that My Bloody Valentine song was playing in the taxi, and then in the hallway, he muffles it so it's just like it's ringing in your ear, and it's just like the residue of a song. Do you remember that moment? Which I love working with Richard Beggs. And then our fabulous producer, Ross Katz, who kept it all together. And it was a hard shoot, and you made it all happen.
Sofia C. Coppola. This is Sofia C. Coppola. She wrote and directed Lost in Translation, which is my favorite movie that I've been in.
Oh, that's nice.